Welcome back. Today we explore a rebellion that started not on Earth, but in the heavens. Long before the Great Flood, before the commandments, a different kind of rebellion took place. Before Moses parted the sea, or Abraham made his covenant, there was a hidden story. It is the story of 200 divine beings who descended onto Mount Hermon. These beings were not demons. They were not created evil, but were once holy. They were part of the heavenly host, known to ancient texts as the Watchers. Their divine mission was to observe humanity, to guide them, and to protect them. Their name in Greek, Grigori, literally translates to those who watch. But as they watched, their sacred duty began to warp into something else. They looked upon the daughters of men and saw that they were beautiful. An unexpected ambition grew within them, overshadowing their heavenly purpose. At the center of this growing rebellion stood their appointed leader, Samyaza. Samyaza knew the heavy consequences of defying the Creator's absolute law. "I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall pay the penalty." But the others did not waver. They were bound by the same desire. "Let us all swear an oath and bind ourselves by mutual imprecations." They swore the oath together, sealing their fate on the summit of Mount Hermon. With their pact sealed, they descended into the realm of mortal men. They took human wives, blending the divine with the dust of the earth. They began to teach humanity secrets that were never meant for them. They taught the movements of the stars, the secrets of herbs, and sorcery. Azazel, one of their chief leaders, taught men the art of making weapons. He showed them how to forge swords, knives, and shields for war. He also taught the beautifying of the eyelids and the use of costly stones. From these unnatural unions, a new and terrifying race was born. They were the Nephilim, savage giants of immense strength and stature. The Nephilim consumed all the acquisitions of men, devouring their resources. When humanity could no longer sustain them, the giants turned on mankind. They began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, devouring flesh. They even turned on one another, drinking each other's blood in rage. The earth cried out against the lawless ones, soaked in violence and blood. The Watchers stood by, complicit in the destruction their choices had wrought. The cries of suffering humanity reached the highest gates of heaven. God looked down upon the ruined earth and summoned his great archangels. Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel were chosen to execute divine judgment. Their orders were absolute: cleanse the earth and bind the rebellious Watchers. Raphael was sent to deal with Azazel, the source of corruption. He found Azazel in the desert, his dark wings tattered and soiled. By divine command, Raphael bound Azazel hand and foot in chains. He cast him into the darkness of Dudael, beneath sharp, jagged rocks. There he must remain in utter darkness until the day of final judgment. Gabriel was tasked with destroying the children of the Watchers. He did not use a sword, but turned their own rage against themselves. He incited a war of mutual destruction, giant fighting against giant. They slaughtered one another until none of the Nephilim were left standing. The Watchers watched their offspring perish, powerless to stop the slaughter. Then Michael and Uriel descended to capture the remaining Watchers. Michael bound Samyaza and his companions in heavy, glowing chains. They were cast into Tartarus, a prison deep beneath the earth's foundations. There they are kept in darkness, awaiting the final day of judgment. With the Watchers bound and the giants gone, the final cleansing began. The great flood washed over the earth, erasing the scars of corruption. Only Noah and those with him in the ark were spared from the waters. But the spirits of the Nephilim did not perish with their flesh. Because they shared a dual heritage, their essence remained. They became restless, disembodied spirits, wandering the corners of the earth. These are the beings that ancient traditions would come to call demons. Unable to touch the physical world directly, they seek to corrupt. They whisper secrets, inciting hatred, greed, and violence in the vulnerable. This is the forbidden tale preserved in the ancient Book of Enoch. A text excluded from most modern Bibles, yet preserved in shadows. What do you think of this ancient story? Share your thoughts below. Until next time, remember, the Watchers fell, but their legacy remains.